Introducing the all-new Italiano range of pizza. Pizza Ultimo. Pizza Hut.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Sonali Manikabadage. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has promised €100 million in emergency aid for flood-affected areas as floods threaten large swathes of Central Europe.
The News First International desk has been closely monitoring this developing situation in Europe and will have a comprehensive report later in the news. But first, let's take a look at tonight's headlines. Threat of dengue epidemic in Colombo once again. Chairman of the Emilipitiya Pradeshiya Sabha accused of assaulting 2 policemen remanded. And Ajit Mana Peruma fills the seat in Parliament left vacant by the late Dr. Jayalath Jayawardena.
New regulations amending the Sri Lanka Press Council law are due to be tabled in Parliament tomorrow. According to the proposal, the fees for registering newspapers is due to be amended.
Amendments to Section 30 of the Sri Lanka Press Council Act No. 5 of 1973 are to be tabled in Parliament tomorrow. However, media reports say that steps are being taken to seek the views of political party representatives for a draft bill that is to be tabled in Parliament on media ethics. Media reports quoting the subject minister said that the draft bill had been presented to political parties prior to being tabled in Parliament. What reason belies the tabling of a bill on media ethics in Parliament?
With regard to the code of conduct, this does not mean any way that the government is going to hold on to their views alone. There are so many views across the country that there should be some theme, some kind of discipline in this sector. So therefore we have embarked ourselves on a mission where we are trying to gather. We have had a number of consultations with very senior journalists as a minister and the ministry.
One can understand that anything that issues from a completely flawed process is bound to have deleterious consequences. It cannot be healthy because there was no public outcry for such legislation, there is no mandate for such legislation, and the people who are bringing this have no ethical standing to regulate the ethics of the media. The media is the watchdog of society. This is an attempt to muzzle the watchdog.
Well, I don't think there will be an opposition for this because it is through consensus that we are trying to do it. And if main political parties, main opposition is quite aware of the draft. If they want, they can make some suggestions. The idea of giving them is to, if they find that this is not the right thing or that they can improve that in some form or the other, any suggestions would be mostly welcome. We are not interested in forcing something down the throat of any journalist or any institution without consensus.
Prior to speaking on regulations on media ethics, there is a question as to whether the government has provided the minimum freedom or democracy for the media. Media institutions have been attacked, journalists were killed and have had their limbs broken. But the government has taken no steps as yet. There are no cases or complaints. Everything has been packaged for the government. The intention behind this is to get media institutions that do not agree with them or are opposed to them to behave the way they want. The imposition of new regulations are extremely frightful due to 2 factors. This is a bill that will seriously limit media freedom in Sri Lanka. The second is that as of today, the contents of this bill have not been made clear.
In a democracy, it is not for the government to bring any regulatory framework relating to a professional occupation, whether it be the media or any other professional occupation. According to the sociology of professions, well, we know that a profession has professional attributes, structural attributes and attitudinal attributes. These attributes are matters connected with the professional membership and the professional association. A government has no right to bring media ethics framework or a code of ethics for a professional community.
The international media rights watchdog Reporters Sans Frontières, or Reporters Without Borders, ranks Sri Lanka 162nd in the world in terms of media freedom, even below Burma, which is ranked 151st. A report issued by the Media Movement for Democracy says that over the past 9 years, 44 journalists have been killed in Sri Lanka. On a prior occasions in 2007, media unions protested an incident where an attempt was made to include defamation in the penal code. This was against a backdrop where a number of journalists were being threatened, attacked and even killed.
Let's now take a quick look at the newspaper cartoon of the day.
Ajith Peruma took oaths as a parliamentarian before Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa today to fill the vacant seat of late Gampaha District parliamentarian Dr. Jayala Jayawardena. Born in 1963, Ajith Peruma previously served as mayor of the Gampaha Municipal Council between 2002 and 2009. From 2009 to the present, he served as member of the Western Provincial Council. Mana Peruma, who received his secondary education at Holy Cross College Gampaha, Bandaranaike Vidyalaya Gampaha and Ananda College Colombo, was awarded a degree in civil engineering from the University of Moratuwa.
On to another story that made the headlines tonight now. Chairman of the Amilipitiya Pradeshiya Sabha, M.K. Amila, who is alleged to have assaulted 2 police officers, was placed in remand custody after he surrendered to court today. Although the police said that operations are underway to arrest the chairman, he had surrendered to court 8 days after the incident occurred.
Court informed the police to submit further reports on the assault of 2 police officers. The police constable attached to the Panamura police who was assaulted had previously told News First that the suspect chairman had assaulted him with a T56 firearm. We pointed out that a firearm was not found or used in this incident. This is a minor charge. Usually certain complaints should be presented before a conciliation board. Although this incident has been blown out of proportion, I think this was only a small altercation. Therefore I pointed out that bail can be granted in this case. Incidentally, General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Minister Susil Premajayantha, reiterated that strict action will be taken against local government representatives who act in an indisciplined manner. I'm informed of certain complaints once it is reported in the media. I receive a report regarding it once police investigations are concluded. We have so far removed 3 individuals and suspended 2 others. For example, the chairman of Thakurasa Pradeshiya Sabha was removed from his position. We have removed individuals from parliamentary positions as well based on serious allegations. Police officers who were on night patrol had stopped a motorbike in the Panamura area in Amilipitiya and had taken steps to enforce the law against those travelling on the motorbike as they were not wearing helmets and did not possess a driving licence. The police said that the chairman of the Amilipitiya Pradeshiya Sabha had then arrived at the location and assaulted the 2 police officers. A police officer who was seriously injured in the incident was hospitalized, while the police noted that operations were underway to arrest the Pradeshiya Sabha chairman. News First constantly reported on the delay in arresting the suspect, while the police said the suspect had fled the area. When News First made inquiries from Inspector General of Police N.K. Ilangakon regarding why the suspect was still at large, the IGP emphasized that the suspect will be taken into custody without any hesitation. However, no arrests were made until the suspect chairman, who assaulted 2 police officers, surrendered to court 8 days after the incident occurred.
The chairman of the Ridhimalia Pradeshya Sabha, who had allegedly assaulted a woman and her daughter, has been released on bail. He was granted bail by the Mahiyangana magistrate Geethani Vijay Singha on a surety of 100,000 rupees and a cash bail which was set at 5,000 rupees. The chairman of the Ridhimalia Pradeshya Sabha was produced in court in connection with a complaint lodged by a resident of Mahiyangana.
In tonight's developing story, the Secretary to the Minister of Higher Education says that the decision to suspend 47 students of the Sabaragama University who organized a demonstration was taken after the students were identified through photographs and video footage. Secretary to the Ministry, Dr. Sunil Jayantha Navaratna, said that the students would not face any obstacles in sitting for their examinations. He also said that it had been decided to consider students who did not sit for the examinations as being present.
Protests were held at 3 universities today, charging that police had on Saturday attacked protesters participating in a demonstration organised by students of the Sabaragama University. The protest organised by the Students' Union of the Rajarata University was held blocking one lane of the Anuradhapura Trincomalee Road. Students from the University of Peradeniya staged demonstration blocking one lane of the Colombo Kandy Road. Students of the Ruhunu University staged a demonstration opposite the Agriculture Faculty in Mapalana. Meanwhile, speaking at a media briefing convened today, the Secretary to the Ministry of Education justified the reasons for suspending a number of students. Female students were brought out of the university after 8 p.m. and were taken to another location where until midnight they had a lecture or some other sort of program. The university administration, following an inquiry, decided to suspend the 4 students who organized it. It was not us. I do not think that universities can continue if persons who commit such illegal acts are not punished.
Petroleum trade unions charge that although 7 days have passed since operations at the Sapugaskanda refinery commenced, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has as yet been unable to procure fuel which meets accepted standards. The CPC, however, notes that when the refinery is restarted, it takes time for operations to return to normal.
Operations at the Sapugaskanda oil refinery were halted on the 14th of May due to a lack of crude oil. Operations recommenced 2 weeks later.
As
the administrators say, operations at the refinery commenced on the evening of the 28th of May. But 7 days have passed now. The refinery has failed even as of today to distribute stocks of refined fuel that is of good quality. This means that the accepted standards have not been met and it is not functioning to the required capacity.
When the
refinery's operations are halted and it is suddenly restarted, the expected production level cannot be achieved at once. The production level develops gradually. From today or tomorrow, the production process at the refinery will return to normal.
The Sapugaskanda oil refinery has been shut down on several prior occasions. The managing director of the CPC says that the reason the corporation is facing this situation is the inability to procure Iranian crude, which is best suited for the refinery. The managing director notes that it is difficult to procure the necessary stocks due to US sanctions imposed on Iran.